Dear children, welcome back to the online session of Sri Gokulam Public School. Today, let's study about returns to an input or returns to a factor. That is about production function or productivity. What do you mean by returns to an input or returns to a factor? It means the productivity or the output from an input employed. Okay? We already studied production function. As you know, production is a function of factors of production or the various inputs like land, labor, capital, etc. Inputs are of two types, fixed inputs and variable inputs. Here we study about short run production. You know, short run, some factors are fixed, others are variable. Suppose two inputs are there, labor and capital. You can take labor as a variable factor, capital as a fixed factor. Okay? So, here we have to study about the various productivity concepts. Firstly, total product or total physical product. It's also known as total returns to an input. Returns to an input or returns to a factor means the output from an input employed. Okay? Here we are studying about short run production. That is, some inputs are variable, some others are fixed. Okay? So, total product or total physical product is also known as total returns. It is the sum total of output from an input employed. Total product or total physical product is equal to function of input employed, namely x1 and x2. Here x1 variable factor, for example labor, x2 fixed factor, for example capital. Or you can show total product is equal to sigma marginal product. You know that if you add marginal, you will get total. Now, average product or average physical product. It is also known as average returns to an input. It is equal to total product divided by x1. x1 here input employed. Okay? Marginal product or marginal physical product. It's also known as marginal returns. Change in total product divided by change in the input employed. That is delta Tp divided by delta x1. That is the marginal product or marginal returns to an input. Or you know, marginal product is the addition made to total product as a result of the employment of an extra input employed. Okay? Now, let us study the relationship between total product and marginal product with the help of total product curves and marginal product curve. You know, both curves, TP curve and MP curve, are inversely U-shaped curves. OX-axis we measure input employed, OY-axis we measure productivity. Okay? Total product curve and marginal product curve are inversely U-shaped curves. Both curves are inversely U-shaped curves. You can see here when the total product is, increasing, reaching a maximum and started to decline. Marginal also increasing, reaching a maximum, declining, 0 and negative. Here you can observe the specific relationship between total and marginal. Here marginal increases, the first segment, marginal increases, total increases at a fast rate. Okay, when the marginal increases, as you know, total increases at a fast rate. When the marginal diminishes, total increases at a diminishing rate. When the total is maximum, marginal is 0. When the total started to decline, marginal will be negative. Okay? This is the specific relationship between total and marginal. When the marginal increases, total increases at a fast rate. When the marginal diminishes, total increases at a diminishing rate. Total is maximum, marginal is 0. When the total started to decline, marginal will be negative. Here you can observe three important phases or stages. If you observe the trends in MPP, you can see MPP is increasing, diminishing, 0 and negative. MPP is increasing, stage 1. MPP is diminishing, stage 2. 0 and negative, stage 3. You just observe the trends in MPP, you can see 3 stages. And this type of the trends, in MPP is known as the law of variable proportions or the laws of returns. What do you mean by the law of variable proportions or the laws of returns? MPP is increasing, MPP is diminishing, and MPP will be negative. 0 and after it will be negative. Stage 1, MPP is increasing. This is known as increasing marginal returns or increasing marginal product. Second stage, MPP is diminishing, known as diminishing marginal returns or diminishing marginal product. Stage 3, MPP is negative, known as negative returns. This type of the trends in MPP is known as the law of variable proportions or the laws of returns. That is, MPP is increasing marginal returns or increasing marginal product. MPP is diminishing, the second stage, diminishing marginal returns or diminishing marginal product. And third stage, negative returns. This type of the trends in MPP is known as the law of variable proportions or the laws of returns. That is short run production. Fixed factors are fixed. Okay? Some factors are fixed, other factors are variable. For example, X1, labor, variable factor. X2, capital, fixed factor. Okay? The proportions between fixed and variable factors have been changing, right? And we are observing the trends in outputs. Okay? So that is why the law is known as the law of variable proportions. The proportions between fixed and variable factors have been changing. Okay? So, total returns, average returns and marginal returns. Marginal returns, if you observe 3 phases. Increasing returns or increasing marginal returns, diminishing returns or diminishing marginal returns, and negative returns. Okay? And this is known as the law of variable proportions or the laws of returns. Okay? Thank you.